What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for the Sunday weekly sports card market update. Covering the hot button issues of the past week or so, going over some charts and graphs. Got all kinds of fun stuff to talk about today. We also had the 3-year live stream this past week. That was an absolutely fantastic time. Streamed for almost 3 hours. Had Dustin, Sports Card Dad, on for a little bit. Ryan from GemRate on a little bit later in the show. If you missed those segments, I would highly recommend going and checking those out. And I just wanted to say once again, thank you to you all for watching, supporting, liking, commenting, sharing, hating, hate watching, whatever the case might be. For the last 3 years, thank you for supporting the channel. Everyone has done a little small part. Like I said, whether you like me, hate me, whatever, you've all done something to kind of get me to the point that we are at today, and I appreciate you all for that. And as I did in the live stream, I will say it here as well. Shout out to you, the silent majority. The people, there was a lot of people commenting on during the live stream and in the videos, names that I did not recognize, to say like congratulations or whatever on 3 years. So once again, I want to say to you all, the silent majority that just clicks on the video, watches its background noise while you're on a run, on a commute, sleeving cards, whatever it is. You never comment, you never like, maybe you're subscribed, maybe you're not. It's all well and good. But shout out to you, the silent majority, for just watching in silence and just enjoying or not enjoying the content. And also shout out to the frequent commenters, viewers that I chat with in the comment section on the regular basis as well. So thank you for 3 years. The party ain't stopping. We're going to keep on going. I don't know if I'll go another 3, but we'll see what happens. But as of right now, the content's going to keep on coming. As long as I enjoy doing it, we will keep on doing it. First up, we'll show stuff. I did not personally attend any shows this week. Wife and I went around looking at new cars on Saturday. That is always a fun experience. Had a Pittsburgh show that I could have went to, but just decided not to. Had some stuff, like I said, had to kind of get done around the house and go test drive some cars. But this past weekend, or this weekend currently, is the Dallas Card Show, and I believe the Fenway Card Show put on by Coast Cards. Dallas, the vibes that I have heard so far, and if anyone attended either Dallas or the Fenway Show or any other show, as always, feel free to kind of drop a vibe check down below. Dallas, I heard, was busy, but just kind of okay. I kind of think what we talked about a couple months ago in regards to people are busy now, there's a lot of stuff going on. The weather is nicer. Kids have activities. People are traveling. Graduation weekend for a lot of high school, at least locally for me, a lot of high school graduations this weekend, prom season, just a lot of stuff going on this time of year. So I think shows are gonna be a little down because of that. The economy is still whatever it's gonna do, so money's still a little bit tight for a lot of people. We'll just kind of have to see how things shake out, but I think a slower summer show season is probably gonna be the norm as we kind of move back into a more normal cadence, I guess, as things continue to come down from the peak of the hobby craziness. This upcoming weekend is the Ships Show, Shipshawana, Indiana. If you are in the area and want to make the trek out, I need to finalize my plans for that. I have not 100% locked in if I'm going or not. That'll be the early part of this week. I need to look at hotel rooms and make sure that we got nothing going on next weekend. But my lean is that I will be attending. I just need to finalize that and knock it out. So that'll be next weekend. I'll be curious to kind of see how, once again, attendance is there. That show is moving to Sunday. It was typically on Monday, Memorial Day itself. But they moved it to Monday to avoid the flea market. Smart decision. Good job, Brad. We'll see how it plays out. Saturday night, trade night. If I go, I will be at the trade night and at the show on Sunday itself for I usually spend about half the day there. Try to get on the road by lunch. That way I'm still home at a decent hour, about a 4-hour drive for me. But that is upcoming as well. But like I said, if you attended Dallas, Fenway, or any other local show, I saw St. Louis had a pretty big show or a decent sized show. I think there was one in Colorado as well, plus the normal, smaller local stuff. The biggest news piece of the week, and I have not had a chance to discuss this in a video because it's just kind of when it happened. And this is, both card related and just Northeast Ohio related. Jim Brown passed away a couple days ago, and I believe he was 87 years old. There have been rumors for a year plus now that he really wasn't signing anymore, and that his health was continuing to deteriorate. So rest in peace to a Cleveland legend, an activist, an actor, the whole 9 yards. I plan on probably actually while you're all watching this video, my Sunday afternoon project is going to be able to relax for a little bit and watch The Dirty Dozen. I absolutely adore that movie. I'm a big World War II movie guy. Grew up watching them with my dad and my grandpa. Love me some Dirty Dozens. One of my top 3 World War II movies are, number 1 is Kelly's Heroes. I adore that movie. I love Clint Eastwood. Then Dirty Dozen is there, and then Patton with George C. Scott. Dirty Dozen and Patton are flip-flop between 2 and 3, depending on my mood, if I want something more lighthearted or something a little bit more serious. But Kelly's Heroes is number 1, but those are definitely my top 3 World War II movies that I enjoy, especially the older stuff with Eastwood, John Wayne, and, all that stuff. But I will carve out some time. I wanted to do it on Saturday, but we got a little tied up running around, and I want to watch Lakers Nuggets. I am recording this prior to Lakers Nuggets, so I do not know what happens in that basketball game yet for the purposes of this video. But Jim Brown passed, and the market went nuts. I saw more, and this is a card that I track. I own 2 of these. I own 2 SGC 3s, 58 Jim Brown rookies. I saw more 58 Jim Brown rookies get posted over the last 24 to 36 hours and sell in the last 24 to 36 hours. The amount of rookies that sold on the day of his death on the 19th was absolutely wild. Same with autographs. I have an eBay saved search. I've had one for a year plus for Jim Brown autos, and I check it a few times a day, and hundreds of them were being posted in a 6-hour period. It was wild. And a lot of them were selling. A lot of people were posting extremely high as comps were ever shifting on this stuff. It's still kind of all too new. I don't really have a good grasp on what the 58's going for now. But suffice to say, it has gone up probably, I'd say roughly 20 to 30%, depending on the grade. Now, how long this holds, I don't really know. I typically don't play in the vintage game very often, so I don't really track a lot of this stuff, like when one of these athletes pass away and then their cards get a spike. If it holds, how long it holds for. A lot of these things are going to change hands in the next few days. So then the inventory is probably going to dry up a little bit. So I would imagine that prices hold at least decently. I'm sure they'll correct back down a little bit slowly over time. I actually have been debating if I want to sell one of my 3s right now. I don't really have a need for 2 of them. This kind of messes up some national plans. Part of my idea for the national was to take the 2 3s and maybe upgrade that into a single higher grade. But that, I guess it's all relative, but I feel like that has probably become more difficult after this most recent news. So we'll see what happens. I only have 1 Jim Brown auto. It's the sign of the times. I really like that card. I don't know that I need any more autos. I would never say no to a Jim Brown auto, but it would probably be more in trade than cash. But rest in peace to an absolute legend of a football player and just a human being in general. You will be missed. He was very active around the Browns franchise. Not so much in the last year or 2, but just generally speaking, he was always a lot of stuff. Moving on from that, it's about as complete opposite as you could get. Flawless Basketball came out on Friday. Just a little late. This is 2021 Flawless. This is the Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, that rookie class. So just a little behind on things we are there. Panini, we are in the NBA Finals for basically an entire 2 years after this class hit the NBA, and we are just now getting Flawless. This will close the door on 2021 product. I haven't watched any breaks or anything of this yet. I keep meaning to, and I just have not had time. It's been a busy weekend, as I stated before. The big thing that I wanted to note here is that they have like upped the triple logo man chase. There is a much larger, and it's only 5 cards, but still, they're definitely blowing this thing up. There's a Cade Mobley Barnes triple logo man, a LeBron Luka Steph, a Harden Durant Kyrie Brooklyn Nets. That one's kind of interesting. Whoops. Jalen Green, Vince Carter, Zach LaVine. Kind of a weird pairing there. And then Giannis Embiid Joker. That's actually a pretty good one of kind of like the next generation of faces of the league once LeBron goes. That's what, like your last 3 MVPs in some shape or form over the course of the last, 4 years, because Giannis won 2. Or Joker won 2 back-to-back. Embiid just won 1, and then Giannis won 1. So that's kind of a cool one, actually. The logo mans, I get it. A lot of people are like, what's all the hype about? They're cool cards. I would not, obviously I wouldn't pay anywhere close to what those silly things sell for, but I'm not going to hate anyone that thinks they're really cool and wants to own one. That's up to them. I may or may not look for a nice Mobley Flawless. I've yet to actually see any hit eBay yet at time of recording, but I'll be keeping my eyes out for one. I'll probably actually just go for a straight on-card auto. I don't really put a premium on the patch, even if they look nice, because they're not even player worn. So at least I don't think they are. I shouldn't state that for sure. I haven't seen any Mobleys. I'm just assuming that they're not even player worn. They're not associated with any specific event, but I do not know that for sure. So someone can double check me on that one. But the Flawless is out. Bunch of breaks of that will be going on. The other thing, which we have kind of talked about a lot in the baseball world, Bowman Sapphire came out on Friday with the whole Topps Fanatics Dutch auction. The much ballyhooed, much discussed at this point. Like I said, I have not seen anyone say they got it for $350. Like I said, I physically saw it roll to 350 on my screen for about 15 to 20 seconds and then went sold out. Once again, I have yet to hear of a single person that actually got a confirmed checkout at 350. So it looks like it sold out at 375. I guess I could use air quotes there. Half the hobby believes that it was just a perfectly fine, legitimate sellout. The other half has their tinfoil hat on. So, make of that what you will. Secondary market prices have started to take shape. It's still limited sample size, so we don't really know what this is going to end at. I kind of have a vibe for, I think, where it's probably going to go, at least in the short term. So keep in mind, there's only, the estimated print run of this is 10,000 boxes. That's really not a lot in the grand scheme of things. That is not a lot of product. So these are probably going to dry up pretty quick. And you could tell because right now there's only 15 listed on eBay active. And a couple of those are people selling individual packs. Dear Lord, do not buy individual packs off eBay of this product. That just sounds like an absolute disaster waiting to happen. We have a couple that have sold. We'll talk about those prices in a minute. The lowest buy it now is $595. There are multiple listings for that. We have some auctions running. One is sitting at $540, and then one at $450 and one at $415. Early sales so far. The first one out of the gates was $600. Then we have a $575, a $565, and then a pair that went for just over $1,000. So my best guess is early on, this thing's probably going to settle in that $500 to $550 range. So if you bought at $375, you could probably make about $100 profit per box pretty easy, give or take, depending on your selling platform. Maybe you throw it up on My Slabs to save a little bit on selling fees. Maybe you sell it locally or trade it or whatever. As stated before, I have 3 boxes ordered. I will probably kind of wait to see where prices go by the time that I get them. I would like to say I'm going to open one. We will see. I usually don't open that expensive of wax typically. I usually just like to leave that sealed. So we'll just kind of have to see how prices kind of fall out. My lean is to rip one and keep two sealed. I don't know that I'll short term flip them. I think my general play is going to be to hold them for just a little bit. I kind of want to see what happens when these start getting opened up, because with the limited checklist and the shorter print runs, I feel like these have a chance to be loaded. So we'll see what happens. But that's kind of where my thought process at is, with it. Let the inventory kind of flush its way through the system and then see if demand goes crazy and if they escalate way up. I feel like I'm not going to take a substantial loss on these by any means, at least in the short term. So that's my play, is that I kind of want this first wave to flush itself through and then kind of see what happens with prices. But should be interesting. The other big thing that happened this week, Bowman Inception. This is the new Topps product. It's the first product with Victor Wembanyama and Caitlin Clark autographs in it. This came out on Friday as well. Still no news at time of recording of exclusive autograph rights or anything like that. I don't know if we're going to see that or not. If Fanatics has it, they're going to announce it at some point in time. Maybe they're holding it for right before Bowman University drops. That comes out at the beginning of June. Boxes for that are starting to get a little tricky to find. I may have messed up on this one. I did not order any off Dave and Adams. Prior to, like, earlier this week, they were $175 a box, and that is not the same product as this. They were $175 a box. They went up to $200 or like $190 something. Currently, right now, they're not listed for sale, but they're playing their games where they put them up, pull them down, pull them up, or put it up, pull it down, and then jump the price 10 or 15 bucks a box every time that they do that. Blowout had them for like $225. I'm just going to roll the dice and wait for them to go up on the Topps website and just kind of see what happens from there. But strong prices out of the gate for Wemby and Caitlin Clark. Wemby is a redemption in this product. I don't know if he's going to be a redemption in Bowman University or not. That would actually be a little disappointing, but crazy prices so far for Wemby. We have 2,700, and some of these are probably numbered, some of them are base, but basically you're looking at about almost $3,000 for just his base level autograph, it appears. And then some numbered stuff is going even higher than that. And once again, Bowman Inception isn't exactly like a super high tier product. It's going to be intriguing to see how the Bowman University autographs come out of the gate. In my opinion, if I was spending a bunch of money on a Wemby auto, I would want the first Bowman one. I feel better about that one. Now, that being said, I wouldn't be running out to buy his autographs anyways. I hope the dude is legitimately great. There's a hype tsunami around him at the moment, and it is only going to continue. I think the angle here is a sealed wax play, potentially in hopes that he is Fanatics exclusive, because that would really juice those boxes then. And then the hype machine builds into the season, and you have the only product in town with his autograph in it. I am sure they are printing way more of this Bowman stuff than they have in years past. That being said, I would imagine the print runs aren't as crazy as Topps baseball. So I feel like it could be limited supply, or more limited supply, not low supply. They're probably still printing a ton of it, but I don't know. We'll have to kind of see how things shake out. But I am not going to go crazy spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on Wemby autos. If you're willing to do that, more power to you. I may pick up some sealed boxes just to sit on the sidelines and see what happens with them. That's going to be my angle to take here. But these things are going for tons of money. Caitlin Clark not taking any back seats either. This is her. Not as much of her stuff has popped up yet, but it is selling strong. This ended actually while I was recording. Let's see if that popped up yet on here. But her autographs are going also for about $1,000 plus. Yeah, you see right here. This is out of 75. That one went for $1,000. Just her base auto went for $1,100. This one went for $800. $2,000 for the gold out of 50. So don't sleep on the Caitlin Clark stuff. Her stuff is selling extremely well. Even her base cards, just her base Bowman Inception stuff is selling great. Haven't watched any breaks of this, so I don't have a good feel for the product. I saw a lot of breakers talking about it, so, take this for kind of a grain of salt. They're going to pump the product, of course. They were all saying how really good it was, and multi-sport checklist, a lot of good big names in there. That does seem to be the case. But once again, it's a Bowman product. It's licensed. It's college uniform, so it does have that going for it. But typically not my cup of tea. But I do think that there is a Wemby angled kind of play here to buy now and then sell into the hype as the season approaches. I don't know if Wemby's going to be in Summer League or not. I haven't heard. I guess he potentially could be. He probably should be. The only reason why I'm even questioning that is because his team is in the playoffs right now. The playoffs are about to start in EuroLeague, and his team is in them. So I don't know if that ends prior to Summer League starting up in a few months here, or in a month probably, a little month and a half. It's usually in July. So see what happens with that. If he comes out in Summer League and just does crazy stuff, it's only going to fuel the fire. And once again, this Bowman stuff is going to be the only game in town. And whether you love Wemby or not, a large portion of the media and the internet at large and the sports card community is going to hype him to the moon. I'm just glad he went to the Spurs and is actually with a competent organization. So I have no vested interest in the dude. I would like to see him do well. It would be good for cards. It would be good for the NBA. Let's pop over and talk charts and graphs ever so briefly. Just got a couple NBA things I want to hit on in the charts and graphs portion. Not many of them. Like I said, we kind of spent most of the time talking about kind of more current event things that have been going on. Once again, if you want to check out Market Movers, coupon code is there on the screen. It is in the description down below. 14-day free trial and then 20% off whatever you sign up with for life. And that includes annual subscriptions. So probably the best promotion they have ever run since the time that I have been using and promoting Market Movers, and I've been doing that for quite a while now. First up, one of the biggest winners of the playoffs, even though they are down 2-0, and once again, at time of recording, I do not know what has happened in that game quite yet for Game 3, but Austin Reeves playing exceptionally well. 2021 NBA draft class, undrafted rookie. His Silver Prism, I didn't do any graded stuff here. This is just straight raw. Over the last 90 days, this thing came out of the gate as a $5 card. It currently sits at $25 raw, a nice 387% increase, a $20 increase. So if you ripped a bunch of Prism and you haven't yet, you might want to go dig through and see if you got any Austin Reeves stuff laying around. Listen, I'm not personally dumping a bunch of. I'm not buying any Austin Reeves, but I would be careful spending a ton of money on Reeves. He looks really, really good, but I don't know that he is ever going to be the A on a team. He is a very good role player on a Lakers team that desperately needs him. Maybe he advances to that, becomes an NBA superstar. It is encouraging just seeing what he is doing on a playoff team this early in his career, playing extremely well. But I'm not betting the moon on Austin Reeves. This is honestly probably a terrible time to be buying his stuff, given the hype meter that he is on. I would wait for them to get eliminated from the playoffs, which might be very soon here, depending on how this series goes. And then if you truly do believe in him, sneak in on the back end. He is going to be due. He will be a restricted free agent, I believe, this offseason. The Lakers can offer him a max, I believe, up to $50 million. He's probably going to get a bigger deal than that. The Lakers will probably be forced to match, so he should stay on the Lakers for a while, which will be good for his card prices. But once again, I just feel like this is not the time you want to be buying Austin Reeves. There will be a better time to sneak into his cards. Just be patient. The other player that just continues to play well. Man, oh man, the Miami Heat. I trashed them in the play-in when they lost to the Hawks with pretty much 95% of the rest of the internet. Maybe the only person that was behind them was Kenny Fornos and Eric Spoelstra. And they just continue to whoop butt. They are now up 2-0. Jimmy Butler cards are getting a little bit of respect in the market. This is just his base PSA 10. His silver, the pop is super low and just none have sold, at least publicly. This card, once again, over the last 90 days, prior to the playoffs starting towards the end of the season, this was an $86 card in a PSA 10. Very limited pop on this one, only 900 in a PSA 10-ish. So not a ton of these out there, even though it is a base card, but you're going back to 2012 Prism now. Very collected set. A lot of people like this set. It's the first year of Prism, so that gives it a little extra juice, but this card is up 171% as Playoff Jimmy continues to just absolutely dominate. It's just him, Bam, and a bunch of role players essentially just outworking the Celtics. I feel like they're going to run into a buzzsaw in the Denver Nuggets. Everything is really setting up nicely for Denver here. We'll see what happens, but I don't know if Jimmy can handle Denver. I just think, and maybe they end up not getting past Boston. I don't know. Boston is super talented, but they have a coaching problem and they have a mentality problem. They just seem like they are weak. They just fold in these spots left and right, blow these leads, and just kind of like watch it happen. It will be interesting to follow what happens with Tatum's prices after this series. Tatum was on the precipice of going to zero, like, joking, obviously, in that one game against Philly where he was terrible for 90% of the game. And then the last 4 minutes went nuts. And then in the Game 7 closeout, he had a monster game, threw up a 50-burger, most games in a Game 7 in NBA history, I believe. And his prices got a little spike off that. I didn't pull Tatum charts. But if they get bounced by Miami, that is not going to be a good look for Tatum's stuff. Super talented NBA player, but for whatever reason, just can't seem to get, I don't know what it is, just can't seem to close. Only 25 years old, though, still has a long way to go. And obviously, once again, very, very good NBA player. But I do have a feeling his prices are going to take a little bit of a dip if they get bounced by the Heat. Last but not least, check in with Ja Moran. It has been a little over a week since all the nonsense with Ja has happened. His PSA 10 silver has not dropped a ton. It's down 20% on this graph. That's over the last 14 days. But really, it's a little less than that since the gun incident specifically. Part of that drop was prior to that gun thing coming out, and then it dropped a little bit more after that. But sitting in that $450 range, I wouldn't be surprised if it kept coming down a little bit. My guess is it probably levels out around 400-ish. Might get lower than that. I don't know if I see it going below 400, at least in the short term. Now, maybe it takes a bigger bounce depending on what the NBA does. We still don't know officially what the suspension is going to be for him. Like I said in the video that I did when this happened, I'm just kind of done with him. I don't really just feel like dealing with it, to be quite frank. I did list my Contenders red optic auto on eBay for $1,000. Someone offered me $750. I accepted it. As of recording, it will go unpaid around when this video posts. The guy messaged me and said he was paying, but I have yet to receive payment, and I am not optimistic that it's actually going to come. So I will probably be relisting that card again on eBay. So we'll see what happens. I would like for the payment to come through, but it's probably not the best time to be selling Ja, but like I said, I just don't feel like riding the roller coaster. I just want to get off the ride, and I would rather just have the cash to spend at Heroes Con or the National on stuff that I really want. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's all I got for you, boys and girls. We're going to wrap up there. I'm going to go watch Lakers Nuggets as that game is about to tip off. We'll see what happens in that one. If you missed it yesterday, did the long form video with Swaggle Comics for everyone that's been begging for comic content. You got a ton of it, over an hour long discussion. Shout out again to Dustin and Gemrate if you missed it on the 3-year live stream. Sports Card Dad Dustin and Ryan from Gemrate popped on a little bit after that. For about a half an hour or so each, maybe even longer than that. We had good discussions on a lot of different topics. Dustin and I kind of really got into the weeds on YouTube content creation. And Gemrate and I kind of talked a lot of grading, not surprising. I may actually clip some of that stuff out and put it into a shorter video this week. There was a couple good key focus discussions that I might pull out of there. And in the Swaggle video, I might pull something out of there as well. Just kind of depending at the end of that video, if even if you're not in the comics, we had a really good discussion about the differences between cards and comics when it comes to cleaning, altering, trimming, that sort of stuff, on how the two various hobbies kind of treat those things. So you might want to go check that part out. Other than that content for this week, I have a small video about the card that I sold that I was supposed to go up last week, but it just never ended up posting. I sold a $2,000 card, kind of a grail level card, not a personal grail for me, but for someone it probably is. So that got sold. That was the one that was going through eBay Authenticity Guarantee. So a little video on that. And beyond that, I don't know. We will see. I need to do a ComC update video. 99.9% of my stuff has been uploaded. And I want to circle back and do a video on that. So that's on my radar for this week, depending on what happens. And the rumor mill's churning on a few things. Might be a busy news week. I'm not sure if any of this stuff's going to happen. But there's been a lot of smoke lately around a few different things. So we'll have to see if any of it comes to fruition or not. But that is all I have for you, boys and girls. We will catch you on the next one. As always, thanks for watching these past, with the 3-year anniversary this week. Thanks for watching these past 3 years. We will catch you, boys and girls, on the next one. Peace.